The Ghana president, for instance, person called Nigeria, be a visit. You are the foreign affairs level, say be a foreign affairs to foreign affairs, be a hojuma. But sometimes, no. Yeah, na on streets into diplomatic consultants, we work on that.
Okay.
It mean visit between president to be a or ne other colleague. Or munta fine. Name on bibi as a beer or visit.
Yeah.
No mutimide can no.
Yeah.
We do that.
Okay.
Apart from that, and so on, the Chroma especially any other African countries, most of the ambassadors and high commissioners near Farouk. They don't have career diplomats.
It's true.
Political activists, government back about near man be ambassadorial post.
Yeah.
Domo commissions now. Where say be near in the case of Ghana, be at the game pandia didn't go 2 weeks. You cannot use 2 weeks to learn diplomacy.
Yeah.
You cannot use 2 weeks to get yourself abreast with international politics and international your friend is relations near maybe. And some of the countries now almost so here also betray no more non-career diplomats. They engage our services, and we do. When it comes to international investments now, there are companies here also so other parts of the world. They be a omo perse omo ko se be a Ghana of so in Juma Baha. Only much to do, only much to say, only connections. So some of us are international platforms also okay near Yenimobi or Ghana. Let's go through him and he will bridge us. One or pursue the project, whatever that is to be done. Now Apobia obe leading. With me, your baby this is a bank or Cyprus. Cyprus Investment Bank. I am from Globe Trust Bank, say not Omo African that, and they wanted to come to Africa. So I have to. So they made me a diplomatic consultant to negotiate. For the past 6 to 7 years, I've been working for them as their consultant.
That's good.
And no pan why our country be to say Gabon money at the we work for almost presidency, no more PBB about diplomacy. The history many other countries. I remember some couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years now, Republic of Gabon. Now almost president Odimba Ohoro. Anything between Gabon and Israel, Gabon, and then Russia investments, and I say the other way around. Now it has to go through.
Wow.
Yeah, a dozen. I think say it gives the public then a bit of knowledge, what we do. That is what international diplomacy is about.
Allah Inshallah. And then come on, Baba share the genesis of the war between Iran and Israel. Obi oha na anu ya de no wote. Odimpo se na anu asebi ho. I mean, sa antoka ekoso between Israel and Iran. Na anu ya antoka ana awo for years. I want something to say.
Okay, Mamincha Netifo. Entim Gobase just and Israel and Iran based Omoko.
Okay.
Very simple. Israel since gaining independence, me find say onyan recognition from United States or your man. There was this issue ane hangi. Israel ne state mienu and I say might be a daho. Arab for fan, Jewish for fan. The other fan say Israelis were fan and the Palestinians were fan. But the bar said, or more recognize woman a true man time. Now, and can say a beer or more recognize the two countries, say, Obia, your mind, also your man. And Kobanesa, Obia named the mind of true man, then the American president. Koba say, or my Israelis, or the Israelites. Or come on, so I recognize as a state. And then the Koba say Palestine for no Omunim or state and now we state. It is Israel for Chichiro Omo mine. I fancy me a country. Chichiro Omo join UN. Chichim countries need to be unrecognized because not some of the countries of the world were saying that I say you recognize Omo. Sa entawantawano na awo from that time from 1948. A belly do bedroom baby say Israel from Kwase. Okay, so I tell the Palestine for Krano, assassin Krano, near their moon free hop. A bedroom baby a Palestine for which I said in the olden days, historically, biblically, Momo Koya Moko Egypt, Okonso and Kwasu, mobile near Waha. To mobile back in the Yanni man baby. And indeed, the story is woman I knew for. Israeli Arabs, Arabs Israelis, especially the Palestine hono. Omina ye nuafo.
Okay.
Arab ni bi o peninsula o sasa do biano or the Jewish or Jewish language no. And I said the Aramaic no. And obia so onso so eye Jew ni biano. Most of them ni nyina so te Arab just say onka. And that word is obi ni nua a om nyina wo different countries. But on the scale no om nyina asase ba ko so no more. And where we are now no politics and this anyama we buy say Ushimwa, the whole Arabian Peninsula, the Middle East, America, I want to any business case. America, we need to me too much our European so. And we need business too much our Europe so. Then business pa America ye, and oil trade in India, Middle East war. No one who say Middle East war the strongest ally. English country, our Middle East here back up. Israel. And a honor omwono. And Americans say na downfall ni nua ni bibia no and the same man na wo hono and the build say in the 1964-67 mo hono Arab for no Palestine for no e benyu obi to say yes Arafat e bedu ni mreso no and o say there be say ye ne ayonkra Israeli passport yenso a Palestine passport ye ni bi Israel say me recognize you as a nation. United Nations, American forces there be munye country, munye nruho. But we share population and no mukra. Any omududro, any bibia omsu they can also function as a state.
Okay.
But Oma Makwai and the UN yasia mamon kahun. And Namuna Palestine, ombeti PLO. But before PLO no, na a organization bako Palestinian Popular Liberation Front and I never ho.
Okay.
Omo say no me a nationalist Palestinian say Israel for crown omutim no mon transase no so. Then you must ask omonko. And no ne didi mu a omo be so share the Entebbe raid 1976 more baby no. Sa group on that na nye the Arafat. But na yes Arafat nso so ho.
Okay.
Woni Israel abenyan tokwa. And your friend Israeli Arab war, Palestine war no. No makuku bia. Enti na akwa dis omo brande ni na world order. Wiase e brande se Palestine so no. Omo ye rebels. Omo ye terrorists and the brande yes Arafat. A hodo nam fi said the world did not do it well. Enti betwa so from Benjamin at time ABC Godmaya time no. Israeli Prime Minister so by another donor believe say Israel the state Palestine here recognize but Palestine didn't have anything. Only police, only post office, only airport, only your friends port, only BBR. So it has been a problem say sorry they cross the strip no akwa here Juma or Jerusalem Israel almost some other part of Hebron many other places no Juma no matter back until they were seen more or less as Israel for Omo. This has been the position. And then I didn't talk no at the start here. And I Arafat obey bia until prime minister after prime minister, prime minister after prime minister. Obiaba on any beko on any beye. But ebedu Israel, Omo parties bia Mapei and no independent party.
Okay.
And ye Kadima, and ye Mina.
Okay.
La Kadima ni ye Mina no. Banjiro party no by Mapei, and an independent party no. On a conservative non tenure mass into a near Sarah Fatumo, ebe problems ni bia fine. And ye bedu time Israel subenya Labour Party, and ye benya Alignment Labour, and ye benya Yes Atid, and ye benya Liquid.
Okay.
Na Liquid for no. Omne Israel hardliners. So omu de so. But Labour for no leading from Godamaya our trials for best start peace. Say yenye country ni mienu no bi antran baby no. Eno omantia say odi say 5 years omi a year no. If we Godamaya time no the next Israeli prime minister or buyer or yenadwin say obe send obe endman any Yitzhak Rabin. And Yitzhak Rabin ni de ono ne Yesarafat a handshake or the Oslo Accord.
Okay. Anka asumbiye beba
forever. And what Tia said.
Okay.
Under the presidency, my best in the history of America was Clinton.
Okay.
It's Clinton who broke a side deal no. ɛma ɔmo nyinaa kɔ hyiaeɛ ɛna ɔmo saa ba Washington ɛsaa bɛhyia bɛ have a handshake and don't prepare bibia and to the best of everybody in the world understanding that two-party state ayɛ adwuma more or less na ɛno no so no Israel for Brand Arafat so a rebel Israeli defense no ɔmo bɛku no ɔmo ba Tunisia ha koraa say ankomba bɛku no yes Arafat generals no bɛku mo Tunisia Hamamet Hamamlef and ɔno nya ne team didim nti yes Arafat deɛ no it was seen as ordained sɛ na ɛso ɔbɛ liberating nkɔfoɔ no ɛna ɔbɛnya the marching partner no nso te ɔmo course na se ɛyɛ Yitzhak Rabin nti Rabin ni Arafat yes peace no na ɛbɛdu ɔmo election time ama Rabin ɛsa bɛ rolu that time na they were preparing the two states Israel one state ɛna yɛn ho baabi efiri a hardliner a 25-year-old boy Yigalamia who was a law student I was in Israel in that city at that very day at the Edison Takana magazine baby a unity take place in our Tel Aviv November 4th 1995 I was in Israel so baby a obi a campaign days our platform Shimon Peres wo Ehud Omet wo Ehud Barak wo Ariel Sharon Israel mpanyimfo nyina ho it was something like a rally leading to the next day na nkomo ba be day omo ba be ma Palestine for anya hoto meanwhile that time no na yes Arafat Israeli Defense Force no there oma keji no kra oma no kwan emani pie because they did the hardliners no omo so omo mpene Yigaramia who was in the pool of people and I said a war campaign as and rally as and etimi shoot from the public. Emma Wankumobia Neganu was able to take Yitzhak Rabin down and instantly killed him.
Wow.
And Owuyeno, that rally no everything grounded. Like I said, everything a Clinton Asabe reverse.
Yes.
Until that time no it was Labour. A Labour Party of Israel no. And then until now Omo Prime Minister we are now onwie and Shimon Peres now oye the foreign minister at the time no on the be take the mantle. Shimon Peres no eba be call just 1 year and a Likud party for no. And now because American Republicans and I say the Nationalist Party no almost sorry. And was say Shimon Peres try say Uncle Bema also be twasu nko maye no and a 1 year time omo call Israeli Knesset omo cabinet no omo vote out and Bibi Netanyahu obaye 1996 obedi 3 years o call ye no and Ehud Barak baye no any Omet baye and o sa ba biem 2009 from 2009 to 2016 o sa ho sa Bibi Netanyahu na do mo ye ne say Likud party anytime a Likud baba biano sir prime minister person transicha or you sue the fight with Palestine because Israeli parliamentary and the national law no, whenever Israel the trigger of alarm in the air said the country will raise the security bar now you can't have any elections until Likud for no bar they create that kind of emergencies say country in air and I want to quit. San etia dia enya dia yebetimi akọ. Enti anu na today's Bibi Netanyahu or the free power of free 1999 akọ na oloba asaba 2013 or the tina hwa. But let us not forget something. One him for anything and to kwaya bedu. Echa say you free it could be Hamas.
Yeah, Hamas.
Hamas no eye omo branding as terrorist organization. But that terrorist organization, Israel Hamas was created by the Israelis themselves. Israeli intelligence they created Mossad for they created Hamas within Palestine. Say omo frustrated yes Arafat. Say yeah, ultimately the independent for the Palestinian people.
Wow.
Until Hamas for start in 1987 na establish Hamas no more rather than a radical group be Israel for the training woman no dey highest Arafat.
Ti atamfo abehye yemu. E na omo aye omo say omo kan ye ho. E na omo san oppose yen.
With him.
Yeah.
and to be busa say bunka no ne amra na wasi on Yasser Arafat didn't have that money and that don't need that technology on besa Israelis na yema wo nti no mu so na timi making sure say Yasser Arafat enya independence emuna Yasser Arafat ebewu ye no and Israel for say Hamas will give in what you say so okay yan ya temo ade na yahwehwe ne yansaka ndom kranka say independence no afedo mu mpe so a turn around by the Hamas no and so a turn against Israel said there be ya cried here no chair Yasser Arafat no papa eno ne from 19 it is Hamas any Israel and Tokwan. Wow. Whilst this was going on at the same agency the same team no and they called Hezbollah. Emma so kwatra Lebanon no so fight say ya independence of Emmaso. And this is a case, a clear case. Omo the kreti. Okay. Sadie no. And na Bibi Netanyahu wabedi ade 2 times ko. Ada Ehud Barak mo ne yimo Ehud Omet mo aba eko. But enam say liquid baby antokwa omne Hamas kuma ni di prolong no. And de Netanyahu saba 2022. But let us not forget before 2022 you be starting. Nanko obeko jail because no aye corruption practices be in 2016 mo nanko de ni ko jail na otimi nya your friend is saying onya parliamentary approval once Israel ko parliamentary so we shift it omi nipa 15 ko one side the crown say ye switch prime minister and okonya alignment ahasia ebaka alliance and otimi ya de ebeye obey prime minister no eno no ye na dwen se wanya nko jildi a eso timi try na oma Israelites no say no or ye bema eno this start here and the start was start here no na oye amenesi say ne brother no me anuafo mienu Yonahan Netanyahu ana Bibi Netanyahu Yohan no na na epanyin no no na in 1976 time Israeli your friends the Palestinian Liberation Force for no omo kidnap Israelites ewo Air France so edum kogu Uganda no the brother ni Kubi on na ye the Israeli commando on na head nipa 103 rescue no the brother no the commandos no kwa no onu kwa ni wiye into 48 years oko celebrate by no na ke say ni bre no aba because claim say Palestine for na ye ma ni brother no you could me one na nye Palestine for no kwa na 2 Palestinians and 2 Germans Wilfred Bozer and Kuma na Kuma na yoba o mu na ni o mu kwa ye sade no Israelis commandos come tim kum o mu and o mu kum Ugandan army 45 what you then say and the brother na brewa bi ananko mu ye wo ko rescue no mu kum ni brother no or celebrating no 48 years from 1970 any last year meant no celebrating and or they started Hamas and Tokwan. Wow. But what they did and premeditated predestined our okay name generally Iran comes in say Hezbollah Hamas and your friend say PLO omuchire say all the terrorist branded rebellion activities are called within the Arabian Peninsula no say Iran and the mom training Iran the mom weapons Iran the mom yi but that is not even the case only meaning say we should say there was a time Iran in Iraq ebenya war Iran Iraq yes Iran Iraq war on so mbakun controversially no na American support to Iraq at a point na Israel support Iran na omu yes anti Iran Iraq war no Saddam Hussein eko gase with nuclear eko she Iranians and Iranians who bent a na sa nuclear proliferations no omu nuclear challenges no e buy okay enti uhwem at that time Saddam Hussein no was American ally na American for penasem okay against Iran yan 10 of event santo kwale be die no ema Iran ni Iraq kura no ebe solve wo muntem kakra ema asunjue bai ena feel na koba said the Republic of Iran Arab for ni nyina ne American for ama Arab for na believe say terrorism rebellion any dash Al-Qaeda ni adadinga Iran for and support. Whereas umu blame Saudi Arabia say Saudi Arabia and a T Al-Qaeda. Other than American for anko bomber and as many Al-Qaeda anko. But Iran there almost man say yesum nema Hezbollah training. Yesum nema Hamas training. Yesum ne say like I said sa feed into the mind. But idea ne say nuclear programs and Iran air koso. In Iran kwane wo nuclear warheads. Onye bi ne dia nko onye developing way. Okay. Israel na mo no nuclear heads ni bi. France will be. Okay. Paris will be. Yeah. UK will be. London will be.
Russia will be.
Russia will be. China will be. India also will be. Japan. But will be in Japan or one there. Yeah. A lot of countries are South Korea, North Korea munina warheads ni bi. And will be babu say. One day determines who there. Yeah. Wo pen ne crowd ne there wo de try but we pen ne there wo de try enye this is what we are. Okay. And I'm not so and I say American government Obama and the Bush nyina brandy Iran say or support to anything nuclear warehouse no so benya nuclear na or the bidding some money and na Iran so ampa so makan way back in the 70s way back in the 80s Palestine Israeli Arab war no na Iran on Kahum. Israeli Arab War in 1976, you know. Israel or Jordan or Egypt and or Syria boom. And on no 6 days. And this was more Minecraft in 450. 6 days. And then the American President Jimmy Carter on the Walter Mondale, the vice, you know. Omu the team broke up peace 1976 and 78 to 79 no. And one year the Camp David Accord. And ma kwama Egypt in Israel talk try. In Israel no on Egypt na no moko. And is do na ko on Syria no ko and tokwano omja how say Iran crowd on men peninsula anymore. On no Persian Gulf and we so Arabian peninsula anymore. Eh there na ho ne tokwane ba. Like I say Oma accuse you omo say omo support to
but from where you sit no accusations a false Anna. Could it be right, true or false?
Whether it is true or not, there are a lot of organizations that were branded. ANC was branded as terrorism. Okay. SWAPO Samnojuma Namibia it was branded. Yeah. Samora Machel Mozambique was branded. Okay. Congo. Are you getting me? You can name them. All of them branded as what? So Biano or independent Biano. But on Iran they are just being accused say or your nuclear heads. Okay. Enti ya manenye enti omra table beginning no say no ho ayo no ani chrome or sovereign nation o makwa ma international atomic o ma ho ma bibia na oye ne sa de putu fear ama ne hu ye hu say bi kwa na nuclear heads waye. It is not different from the Saddam Hussein, President Clinton and Tony Blair accuses Saddam Hussein or nuclear Obakai. International Atomic Energy for no so kwa say o mu believe say we develop we but time American for ko kromon say banchi kwa no oni bi ho and om di kutu Saddam based on the same nuclear suspicions and the same nuclear suspicions no Iran say yes one do oye ne dia but ne dia no for peace na enya nwanwa say International Atomic Agency Europeans brokered the deal between the Americans, Israelis, and the world, and the United Nations. After Obama kwama maba kroma be hwe say your nuclear nibia. As we speak, I no omo krom ho. Anu ne ha Iranian say ye ma kwan ne nyina na ha. Nti program nyina ma hu. E de nti na bibia ba nam krom nti meka sampa na bibi say ni ha. But President Trump the first part obaye after Obama no obaye no or try say obey that time wanya aggressive because one no only bibi Netanyahu we are no problem. He had a problem with him because I said one American committee troops and support Israel over the Iranian affair and the turn around time now no isn't it surprising say the same person now can say oni Netanyahu any problem no now no he's in the good books of Bibi Netanyahu. Netanyahu branding say Trump is the best president of the United States of all times. Wow. And he say politics. Politics a woman is saying yes Israel or see ni fear our region ni mu ni fear nyina ni Israel any Iran the fear ni nyinaa ne say Hezbollah no one ne kon ne weapons kura no ombehe weapon ni nyinaa na made in Israel Iran ombehe weapons ni Hamas na made in Iran and to feel say Iran a threat and no decide say obokwa ko hit on Iran.
Wow.
But whilst doing this na UN General Assembly
yes
assembly da ho awo mu ka European Union no mu ka assembly
yeah
enti surprisingly our President Trump oye ne campaign no or can say oba Iran would never have nuclear but no be any intentions any adwena ne di achi and to the quite as he said Hamas renewed clashes escalations with Israel no and omu started say omu pushy the agenda on Iran say on submit it but meanwhile Iran say ayi forces will chrome ha ayi into a program no munim de ekoso overnight I will be any makwan Israel for trigger say Israel trigger no who tell the first speech of the president of Trump of America or say Israel on the right so defending home on the right so taking care of Bibiana it's seen say a threat to Israel but American can home American mem owie no the same person aka say name mum say etuo na Israel abetutu ato abekunkum generals no say Iran your mistake no retaliate dia American BTS from what does it mean?
Na say what take size
what di ka wie dida and I will share the extent of the intelligence course our operation Israel for kwandimi. It is not possible. The Israeli Mossad, yes, they are one of the fastest in the world, smartest in the world. Yeah, Oma infiltrate already Iran, Omo. And Iran for suspicion say, Ebia IAEA for no, International Atomic Agency for no. Omo call for, and Omo ebae, Omo you see Israelis ne buy as a decoy, and the team ma Omo because all the bombardments in Israeli precision. Because we should be generals one after the another, Republican Guard, the National Republic, the head of security, and if you're near mom destroy day one, then President Trump said, no, Mama will 2 weeks. Mon comply, and then be no must comply because they're already having discussion with the European Union, which American can't want to comply and say any day. Only an agent say, okay, 2 weeks I want to be Oma me comply obey say. Afenu Obisu Sabi, Usu Kra weapons kakanya to tutuba. Also started say, Omso gidi. Then that one in the resuscitate America anger. But the world was expecting CBA President Trump, the American system, or Beko Congress to seek blessings from Congress or Kokon. But already in that Congress, because it's the American system. But the same American system, no say Mahan Kwan say, oh, you're president of the United States of America, or executive order on chain to go to Congress. In Tisania man, or yen the time a Congress upon. Yes. Majority has it. The same thing Obama okukum Osama bin Laden. They do it outside the range of Congress. In the emergency session,
as a war majority of parliament.
What you say?
Mapono, and I don't know.
Nature say, or ma take a decision, no, and our Americans so they could join here or no ama situation, no.
Indeed, say Americano, why ye? They say Iran on Timini America sonko.
There be on Timmy.
One day were form.
One day no ever form in two things. Yes. And one day also so here support. Yes. Allies. But the allies in no American force whom you lunatic governments. Russia, China, Cuba, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Iran, Ankasa. Yes. And your friends say North Korea, Cambodia, and side governments lunatic. They will not. Russia, for instance, already know or one on hand are dealing. And Russia soon say, over the same powers of fighting materials, equipment, logistics, arms and ammunition, race, on the American forum. Yes. And so, and against on the American racer, like I said, destroy me, let me destroy you. but then Russia so I dream me said United States move so okokwa or say friends of America.
Okay.
Either we are with us or you are not.
Okay.
Like you saw the pressure to Europeans and so.
Yes.
Or the pressure to Europeans in so. UK odimika beko. No matter how UK will condemn Americans' actions, say basse a bad fight, say Iran air na so any American fighter. UK beko.
US
of course Spain beko.
Yeah. Germany.
Italy beko. Germany ko humanitarian on tutu. Holland ko humanitarian on tutu.
Okay.
Switzerland obedi American chair on tutu.
Okay.
Poland odi American chair on tutu. Wow. Red Cross nations and I said Denmark and Scandinavia they go ombedi as friends. Say be two ma American but because they can world war no fi say na a friend say Hitler wipe or person wipe the whole Europe no American for and a better UK ni France timi de gi to obi afi say we are friends of the United States America ko kan ntoka or ko kan bi o Iraq onu nkwa na ko emu ye den no and a UK ko kan ho emu ye den no or call for the allies either you are with us or you are not Italy mu nyina akokun bi the same thing occur in Afghanistan inti we no oka say Iran say or TS so no obi ko all these countries in be ko ho one obey stress and you one two superpower in the air America say form na ko mo ko ntokwa no say army on the street there ontimi Iran ko because US Marine no they are not trained that much so obeko omiye recovery but before so me recovery no are making sure say the air force now clear the power the firepower no what destroy major there say or breaking o military bibia or jam o systems in term marine no betimako a make headway and a background fight na France for the betimako bro America and the UK for the betimako bro America but America no on here ground fight because on find so jeni back kra ambesi form into only the concentration in your air a house na hode no because the modern day fighting modern day fighting a technology yanko form and now oniama no American folk sophisticated jammers no Israel for is the best technological for defense equipment you know only ahead of every country in the world and before say even Gromba call Iran no a Germany radar the defense system you know a German and you know timi call mo airspace pie quiet back to back year do no what about America they are 2-3 times than the friends Israelis and design here they are Iran better so yebi and you say all to America to no on the Israel will concentrate because one on my America and American force who said and yet true say Iran our weapon obitim dey do United States name of the weapon 1,500 miles obitim do Israel with coordinated
so who knows our ahead scene
in the planet here there American forces so edom vessels akọ peninsula mu a o intercept or the drones in there it is amazing say now Oman underestimated the kind of drones and the number of drones that Iran fire. They have so much, but in the Israeli interceptors, you know, and you there, American for the no, I want Peninsula Gulf no, and the yes, and before say Iran by agency or Pajano, no man intercept. Yes, it be landed because so to 5 far interceptors in bit catch by 3, maybe a 2 be a bell landed, and a 2 nuclear landing no, almost try say ombe blown away, say unco the public space. And that is what actually is going on. But America and Israel, me can say, and Tokani a political, and then Tokani a historical, and the hodida. Name of the most important thing is in the business aspect of it, and Tokani a business, a business. United States a business, meaning say, in tuna omuto ICBM, and the powerful Papa. Any American government na yes and you a company individual company in the producer sa individual company say to kwa maya
onyeska
omutuo no ebi apale 8 years 10 years into kwa bi ama and these are technologists these are engineers these are high proficient people na juma no bi etu anka be $50,000 a month for 5 years and one so your production Papa na etuesi yanwe bombs ni yanwe ICBM yanwe But what is it? Any jet fighters sitting in ano, and yet jet fighters are individual company in a yen at Toma Womo. Until all this is fuse it, and yet a money a fuse, and a fuel and Tokwane said, your uncle for some so broke, your brokers of those weapons. And to also be so said, man, my Charlie, Momanenko. And you are looking at the business side of the fight. Yeah. You are looking at the historical side of the fight and then the political side of the fight. There be a 20 there. This is not the first time. And American Ankasa with Israel no. One Iran enya exchanges. Our Gulf from Yemen ho. Time now Yemenis rebels Houthis for no ekoto to etuo ene etutu tuo bo USS Code 1 our Yemen Gulf ni mo ho no. Na America also responded Echo Iran. Oma yesanya man exchange. But that was an enlightened note. And quite bigger escalation. George Bush time maybe see it. Even Obama Crano, Kakres now there was espionage action. Say Iranian yaba yimu among to two kote machines in the go. But and one year bigger. But this one the scale near big because a man for Susu Ebenyeska. Yes. Omon Benyeska companies are use weapons. Drones now cost one drone. Say cost be 1 million, 2 million, $3 million. And your war Barisa Moses may be cost $2 billion. America the a B-22 bomber mono 30,000 pounds machine. And we could just assassin so. 30,000 pounds bomber no. We just say a one a year. And why dear? One who can echo. Machines echo at $2 billion, one bomb. Yes. Echo $2 billion, so much to 7. Say no 14 billion. And do you say so now company no abeman to connect. As obi o yefundaka no. Bacho. Onko anopa no masi omtrase. No ma bompaye. But no amu so te sel ma me awu anu osu.
O bompaye say market mraba o ma me.
Onko anopa o you do you friends amochi road wa. So musa no mo bompaye but when one said daughter and your family kumoton adaka no okofa ni part 2 what they say but on one adaka no your friend say we ma me awakura no atwi ni sinus na bompaye na abon man end o family at the enti a world order is a politics, is a business, and your friends a historical religion. Should be say I didn't know United Nations General Assembly. You what emergency sitting, Security Council. So they are working. UN criticize it. UK Kabi. Why now see where you one troop? UN team mobilize it. UN team for troops. UN team for say Yemen nipan ko Israel. Na onko no onko stop the fight even with Israel and the Palestine. UN want him for Palestine, Israel for more than 60 to 70,000 within about 6, 7 months, 8 months campaign. UN teaming for soldiers in Koho. UN for crana missions now. Okay, Oma Pamo Mama free ho. And Untino, Sir America walk away from the UN discussion table as a taking unilateral decision. On Kwani Israel na yo madia. France and Kasai or Kasa or say Oma escalation on Kofom, but on Kasu Munyai. You can say, young go on the diplomatic table, one Kasu Munyan to corner. Japan, on any country, Asia, or taught Iran oil more than any other country. But on no crown, or say America has the right to defend themselves over what? Over what? But we are peaceful solution. How do you find peace? So far as a Turkey for the nana mekaye Thomas kakra. What's it saying?
Turkey for the no or say Turkey is deeply concerned about the possible consequences of the US attack on Iran's nuclear facilities.
Yes.
Which risk escalating the conflict to a global level. We call on all relevant parties to act responsibly, to immediately cease mutual attacks and to refrain from steps that could lead to further loss of life and destruction.
Okay, so I know you're friendly diplomatic language. Obeka. But what does say Turkey Beka say? Also a big size of army. Yeah. And also Ben Persia ho. But the area countries in the Persian Gulf and also the Persian Peninsula no. Say Uzbekistan ho. Yeah. Tajikistan ho. Turkmenistan ho. Afghanistan wɔ hɔ, Azerbaijan wɔ hɔ, Armenia wɔ hɔ, ansana waba the side the edge of Syria. Countries in our region no emu hwan ene waka sɛ ɔkɔ akɔ support Iran even if not anything other Persian for no so ndom yɛ nipa ba obi amoa no ɛna countries ɛka sɛ nyinaa Turkey nyinaa no obi enu ɔbɛboa because obi aso mpɛ so ne America benya direct confrontation.
America na be world superpower.
Ɛnyɛ sɛ nyɛ wayɛ ne ho because after the 1945 war world war no ɔno na collected the world and odum ba United Nations General Assembly 6th and 7th Avenue of America and was say yemra ha ne madwindwen ho so cleverly no ɔno no and a year recovery edu omu nyinaa baaye because at that time no say second world war na kana America no konka ho directly na nkonko ba bi o na Europe but the koba say Hitler etima move akọ London or wipe the whole Europe no and the ma British for co involve United States ko provoke man here to say the German Hitler no na Saudi and American for trigger buy and when they came down and then they bet ma America on France and your friends UK it in Berlin esi hwa ye base all over Germany sovereignty America ne there ono na ye ho say okay and so ko e ba wiase no superpower no no the man who superpower say me na me best
enam ye so a wiase wo no ba wie
enti nyansa no doso and don't forget say ampa a multiracial nation enti ideas na go into the American development in terms of technology no eso eno ma ye niam mebrebe na wo ma so no ekwa mebrebe ma fa so de anya omusika enti the money is there, the population is there, the contributor no nim the ntokwa ba first world war no second world war no enti na America making sure say whilst Europe and other countries in no more rest no na America develop race of weaponry race set in the future of any defense to no ka superpower na enye sika sem nko a why wadwen say o ya mebe ababebo enu nti na one Russia obia suro ne yonko and this ntokwa betima engage Russia Ukraine Russia US no enu na obeka say eye global but rather no Israel Iran enu no eye friend a regional war and there can be an escalation to be a world war. It is not possible. It cannot be a world war. It will be contained within the same region because this is not the first time. EBSC is contained within a regional war. And be anchor because Obin Timigoga said Iran any America now or support Iran Tino say Togo a support to America there. Ghana was mini Togo Koko. It will not get to that. It was in the Second World War. And I know yes, sir. They were doing that because now there were a lot of countries and land, protected areas, you know. Na land but now no, there is no even any law. Obi in population here 3,000, narrow alarm 5,000. In a country or on the water boundaries. Until then, our Babako. Ghana independence over 68 years. Britain team me fan say me kwa akoko into the machi is not possible. Into where is the world war?
I get you.
So there cannot be a world war, but a regional war. Oma na di yomu business.
All right.
Okay.
Enche ye be in under a few minutes, but away from war no. Na nse na yetiti hu say Trump de tabo beto aman bi so a omuntumi mba America. Ebi so nya no kure, ebi say no kure. Pacho, how true is that? Say especially Africa and Arabian countries be sounds asem na nem wiem say Trump de tabo beto ebi kura de Ghana e shem but no kura be na wom sa
Sunday there woman make a public statement why and idea is a news out there in your secret but o hwe the niema na the requirement na eno na obi baka say funny kakra why one is say or say wama times our countries 34 na Ghana party no say yanhwe ne citizens a o ma apply visa edeba no any time so no ankwa or the Ghana or the better so obi be wisa say wotuwe anamituwe na magye visa na mitukwa na mama president mama of ahombe
ono ye de hu bia wombo
Ghana fa ahombe 2 osa say country bia wudin wom so I na dwen so deporting for America na wa mie kwan amana mfa nkofo no ametuo mangu ha meaning say so high plane no de nipa ba West Africa Nigeria fo Togo fo obi obefan bi onye nipa tuntu na Africa bi obetimi de na him say Ghana na say bia country bi odin wa makwa amana mfa ma also kan the point is that wonya mfa obi mai ene ya makwai enti adenti na ade ka ho and if the world remembers her Ghana need the one and the only African country American for non-titled citizens are from Guantanamo Bay prisoners see ajiwo mu yajiwo mu omu basis ye ma omu kwai enti ye there enke no omu ye very fine and one wonders our list of nations no or the Ghana ka. Now let's look at it from the point countries be about so it's also a little bit because country be is Gabon on population is not up to 1.5 million Gabon no heaven air France and US and the Gabon no de never ka no Gabon air day Chad on America already no Chadians omu nko Eritrea America no were issue Somaliland on no issue Cameroon what the woman nyina French Congo on ni rom nyina no French countries
Ivory Coast
La Côte d'Ivoire Senegal so no woman nyina France no Senegal kra de woman nko Denmark Scandinavian and Senegalese won ko they don't like America bi wo hobet womu Niger dodo say no America and two other countries now he enlisted them because no one can say or person oyi ni diplomatic missions and free some of the countries but I find it strange is Ghana no the whole ECOWAS and America higher command biggest embassy in Ghana no under President Kufuor and this is what US embassy high command West Africa and Ghana and then the beba said would the Ghana as part of it it is all banned and now mission na wahano also be day and near be ha ni nyina na politics
but who ni say e betima possible ana waka keke
from what President Trump do see can in Yemen it's very difficult to predict because also Israeli and Iran the Ukraine obusa na there be there yemfa ya hunshim Israel for affair mo munye bet onu amu no sorry overnight no or say as America e kan ho but don't forget say sa list of nations here also mo American oba no ye first 17 bi Cambodia Burma Myanmar all countries be ebem or the Somalia ka ho or the Eritrea ka ho at a point kra no or the Djibouti and or the Ethiopia ebeka ho because omne Ahmed omne no a problem what they say or the countries but wait 34 need the surprise 10 but then yet only African countries say Caribbean for or the Caribbean sin be so at the now does that mean say Europeans say what America Sao Tome and Principe look at a country like Sao Tome and Principe Portuguese apart from Portugal country be no mo ko wiase na Ghana how we share Sao Tome Principe da how much more America but what is it and the countries na listen on the bar Dominican Republic do say dey fine because or American continent Syria of course one no problem that they say no pro American government Syria anti minimum how or this Syria so e be abeka ho but what they na say and the list need there why but so obi beka say onye no obi anim because me fear ni say time now or yes I list in ba out no the next day and the United States embassy in Accra also so echo the ambassador also can say Ghanaian student unim now be apply for American visa now the fake document they will deal with you didn't say much I think so Ghanaian applicants visa applicant B1 B2 for visitors and the business no wow bekwa wa mano Ghana be nya problem and also controversially as Albeka won say Ghana ni bia na se countries no mdie ewom no onye very careful say on fa investment hwade oyo investment support and investment technicality emergency resident permit. What is the investment? And you mean American American for CBA, say $1 million and $500,000 between the year investment our America edge green card.
Yeah.
It is a Ghana nibi ya na dwen say okwa investment said ye bi ma ye ye bi na enye Ghana nipa ne ye law wo no why law
and oye so wa qualify
na wo dia man na wo sa turn around say obi anhwe no amfa investment so answer me like say the whole thing no very difficult aha won't how exactly they want to do it and as he wants to do, but on the whole no ni nyina ne say as a country, Ibimaka, Iran, Israel war, ebe affect Ghana. It should not affect Ghana.
Okay.
Iran oni banku, Ghana oni Iran oni kunkunte.
Di tuzafi.
But what I say? But who can akusi oil so say? Only say Iran is a big player. But Israel no couldn't talk around no drink oil. Syria or region ni mu. Brunei mu nyina wo around. Into onu kro moti ho a direct no kra nye dede into you cannot sit here 4,000 miles away 5,000 miles away now ma be su say Iran Israel war no e be create problem am a global effect e be affect inflation but good countries no obi aye ne mra obi aye ne law wa hye ne niam ye o create no wealth say si ato oil num kra na or other shocks a otim di nya ne sika ye de ne de ahi any a problem because yetimi yusu COVID throughout abro wiase no obi akọ emmo COVID indi e ka se no na me ye ho kire ye wie be issue Russian Ukraine war ye se na me ye ho kire to the extent say his excellency the president Nanado eko UN in the last general assembly or say any bullet that hits on target on Ukrainian soil affects the pocket of a Ghanaian. How? But he didn't also say any bullet that hits on Russian soil enriches the pocket of Ghanaian. It's a lazy economic approach. And to me, Murphy said, the current government, much as they can comment about it, please once again, your 180 parliamentarians are because the Ghana for you support. It should not take anybody, any parliamentarian say Ghana kwa huchirim na Iran, Israel would know.
Mo be unfunctioning.
No be unfunctioning.
Mo be a politician be unfana.
Obi anu ha odi banku ho. Israel we ni banku.
Okay.
Omo kono yemfa body enkoma wo mu. Na Ghana yenye toy gun kran fa nkomo obi ni akase ye ho kire. Enti say oil dia. Usu tu oil ni bi. Ye Ghana ye part of the OPEC. Yen hunu say ye loss ni agreements ye oil no. Yen revise it. Yen review. Yes, you intimia oil ni be enye day. Yen refine it for the use of Ghana. Now intimia two oil ni now the 1 barrel. Papa, 1 barrel kwan. Yen bi. Now we beaten baby no kwa. We say na be ma watch. No, a lazy
approach.
A very lazy approach.
My last question here, dollar CD no.
Yes.
No near the baby. Among for say a buy no more dembo and I'm a dollar no. Etimi aba bedu from ebiso say entoka na ekoso which is which
entoka de
say bi na okay Israel dey entoka no you say e ka ho na ama dollar no I mean ebi attribute to international I mean reasons ebi said that be aban na hwe dollar no de yen aban na ye as a diplomat I mean obi a wa be one
so let's look at it from that point economically.
Okay.
Ghana and Kasano the need for dollar I shouldn't too much said you
okay.
On the street value.
Okay.
Let's look at cities by cities.
Yes.
Accra, Uncle for $2. Massa. And your dollar be an uncle for $2. A man called China.
Yes.
A man called Turkey.
Yes.
A man called Dubai.
Yes.
On spare pass for on the street.
Yeah.
Kumasi dollar they need a day won't be up to $500,000, $200,000. Takrade dollar the whole takrade be circulate a day and no 50,000
sunya kwade bobo
be 4,000 Ghana doma the techima dollar be and funny here dollar Ghana so therefore ye kra dollar na government ekogin no treasury United States treasury na yakoto dollar no ebeton ɛhɔ na problem no kwa na ɛwɔ ɛne sɛ wakɔtɔ dollar or America as a treasury or babeton nti sɛ America ɔde $100 bia no ɔde ma $98 and then 97 when you $3 na government wo de aba oba wama wo bank no wama no 2 ɔno ntɔn na wo so the one e de aya oniama majority as yemusa Ghana bank a wɔtɔn dollar de ma wo bi wafa cedis akɔ bank ama wo de ama da bi sika na yɛde ma banks no Ghana government kɔgye wɔ bank central bank no treasury na ɛkɔtɔ no America bɛtɔn no ɔgye ne de ma bankers na no wɔn de ama forest bureau ayifo no wɔn de ama black market whereas say yɛwɔ forest bureaus wɔ kurom ha Accra Kumasi regionally the whole country there were forest bureau bebe yemusa say forest bureau bɛn ɛna government ama no dollars so mfa nyɛ n'adwuma meanwhile forest bureau owners no ebi wɔ dollar omu dollar na ɛwɔ government no ebi wɔ 100,000 ebi wɔ 300,000 ebi wɔ 200,000 ebi wɔ 30,000 enti sɛ government no kɔgye dollar no de ba ɛna ɔde ma forest bureau sɛ ɔpanka dollar politics na ɛka no ka dollar bi ani hɔ no but forest bureau no duom sika ma ban de kura ban no ɛna ɛhyɛ ne bɔtɔm ɛna ɔkɔfa dollar ba na de ama bank nso mfa dollar ne man kɔfo bɛdɛ na dollar ne nkɔ so enti a small pressure seasonally season pressure kakra baba dollar so no hu escalation and then hyperinflation on the dollar now the cost right now say abano of course so was stop too much of abnormal spending spending no cost and to hear too much of a dollar and then the gold board so establish here it is true say near dollar no a leaky through the Indians any the black market board borders na no ndi gold no kono that was the one the pressure e the beto so
okay
do you understand because ya no matter so turn ha kra black market no dey at dollar no dey far border na chi no dis can call Indians were doing other nationals ama obi aye bi enti sa plan dey ato wa yenia no dollar no say ye to gold 1 kilo gold $100,000 oh the London bullion price yenia ankasa Ghana government gold board no also to dollar ni bi dey say also to gold ni bi and what does it mean this is a catch obi akotun gold say the garam say a company what no we broni kra no tun gold ha na say ye 100,000 Dubai market na Ghana government say farmer metal 100,000 or they kwa kwede so there will be a cedi there will not be need for dollar
into where the abwa pa yes
gold board no a part but then it does not mean say generally because they say no I started say esa air climb because time na etimi ba bedu 10 no we didn't take measures to some extent say you bet put two measures into my Nigerians and my ECOWAS for no French for no near that the Togo has say omu ba beto dollar no eno na ma dollar no asa a wipe up but the whole thing is say to be able to sustenance no approach na ni say dollars na wa gin forest bureau for horo say president and then the government in pursue maintaining the dollar no encourage there where say gold board on support no on for forest bureau for them obi ani dey 50,000 man 25,000 and the forest bureau be the 25,000 a day and what they are doing forest bureau be pound no next guy was sakran 2,000 and the pressure on the dollar near him fa
all right
me ba twa dey say and so a dan ka bibia dollarization nipa do say what bubu asha okotua dollar what Santa Maria wo the dollar in tuaka I will shoot this dollar no him for cantonments East Legon Airport Hills no kwa no ono no envelope mu na she no odi ni kakraka so we don't necessarily need dollar as we think we need it is not true what I say
just a few people
just very few and your banks and also so any omo forest bureau omo black market is the bank that makes the dollar issue being a big deal our Ghana say and it's the government you know etimi say was streamline year na or the inflow of the dollar no akọ forest bureau and a gold board no so no etima stop the dollar spillage because say abroad omom to gold black market no omom de facto go and be the pressure beto dollar no so ha all these things no emma dollar ni ntimi rise
all right
in any case dollar no eden na yema Ghanaians eden na yema Ghanaians how many people are using dollar Enti we just say abano esuso oya ade enti we just only pray say omo beye ebeto aso sana nhihye no ama dollar no Ghana force dollar ni gina, but is that the case? Answer is no, it's not dollar. We are not creating wealth as a country. I was a young year to me shisha kwampa apart from cocoa any traditional influence. And only idea here. Me ba jwa dey say. Wo ton crude oil nyina so we refine 1 barrel kwa na wo ton no Ghana ha. Your people will be okay with it. But wo dey oil ni nyina no o ko 10% to the demand say on gross. No. And drum titi scan nyina dey be kan ya dem a peanut.
Obi here wa bedenya.
Oh no.
Bibi said no.
Obi here unka jiro musa.
Eba cho ebre ne bre say o time a e beta na waba. Ya fa topic different enye continuous the back anytime available.
That's why.
Ebeba. What be nipa messages are bringing and people are learning a lot. Yamishra. Thank you for coming, bro.
Thanks for receiving me. All the best.
Okay. Abusia yanani ya homra ya ba the show continue.